Manchester United and Arsenal. Yes, that was one of the games of the first weekend that took place on Sunday, which we saw at Old Trafford. Manchester United lost 1-0 to Arsenal. Now, I want to break down some things that I saw over the weekend that looked particularly interesting, and those things are that Man United actually had a style of play, and they looked pretty damn good from most of the game, actually. I'll have some stats here for you right now. So, to begin, Arsenal and Man United. Man United had 62% possession in the game. Arsenal had 38% possession. We also see that United completed 475 passes. Arsenal completed 294. Pass accuracy 82% in favor of United to the 74% of Arsenal. And 10 fouls to Arsenal's 19 fouls. So the game was interesting, to say the least. We saw a United team that didn't lack any confidence. They went on the front foot. We saw the interchangeable front three of Brian Mbeumo, of Mateusz Cunha, and Mason Mount. All three of them were interesting, actually. It seemed that there was this interchangeable front three that we've seen in the last year from some of Europe's best teams. Not saying that United is one of Europe's best teams, but they are trying to become a better team this season. But one of the things that I really liked about their team was there seemed to be a better balance. I thought De Ligt and Lenny Yoro were very good. I thought that Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes as a double pivot wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. The only thing is, Casemiro towards the end of the game looked a little leggy, and as soon as he came off and Ugarte came off, it looked as though the United lost some of their shape, and it was honestly it was a good performance. It was from United. I thought that they played quite well. They fought for every ball that they could. They stretched the pitch really well. They got Arsenal into some uncomfortable positions. They should have scored, and I think they were unlucky not to. Benjamin Šeško got some minutes in his legs. He wasn't as pivotal maybe as he would have thought he could have been in this game, but he only came on for about 20 minutes, if I'm correct in saying. United, I think, will actually have a decent season this year. Now, they don't have European football to worry about. They do have a smaller squad, if you want to say that. I still think they need a six. I think if they can get a energy guy in the midfield, in the sense, in the style of a, let's say, for example, a Moises Caicedo style midfielder who has an engine, can do both things at the same time, can break up play, can distribute the ball well, and can cover ground, which is what they'll need in that 2 in midfield, because it is a 2 with their 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. Excuse me. But it was a good performance from United. I was pleasantly surprised. They looked to have some energy, something that they lacked last season and the last couple of seasons. They stretched the pitch very well. They got chances, one-on-one chances specifically. Now that they have these tricky wingers in Mateusz Cunha, or forwards rather, Mateusz Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. I thought Mbeumo was unlucky not to score in a few opportunities. I thought Cunha linked up play really well. I thought Mason Mount actually was quite good. He maybe lost the ball a few times, but there was something interesting that he was doing, which was drifting in and around that 10 position spot, letting Dorgu or Luke Shaw get into those wider positions and kind of stretch the width. He was kind of difficult, I think, at times for Arsenal to man mark because he was finding tricky little positions, and I think he actually might have a pivotal piece within this team this season if healthy. Mason Mount, people forget, is a wonderful footballer who unfortunately struggles with plenty of injuries. And then Arsenal, I was not impressed. Specifically, it was slow. It was lethargic. It looked, there wasn't this urge, I would say. There were a few moments where Odegaard got into some space, or, Saka got into some space. He has that opportunity at the end of the game almost where it gets deflected off of De Ligt and goes out for a corner in extra time. What we maybe were anticipating. Now, granted, they are a deep team. And if we look at the substitutions here, they brought on Timber, Madueke, Mikel Moreno, Kai Havertz, and Lewis Skelly. That's a very strong bench. You have options on the bench. The only thing is, no one really came off the bench and looked to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. I was specifically disappointed in Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres, he is a horrible dribbler, number one, but there was no service for him. So it was very difficult to see the best of him against teams that set up in the way that United did. I think it was actually quite a good defensive plan by United, and they were unlucky. In any other game, United could have scored. They could have won that game. They had so many opportunities in the second half that they didn't put away. I think against a really top-notch team, a Man City, a Liverpool, they lose that game. because they just didn't look in it the entire time. Now the even the defensive shape at times was a little suspect. We saw multiple times, especially when Lewis Skelly came on, we saw multiple times that Brian Mbeumo or even Amad Diallo, when he comes on in the second half, United was very they were very good at switching the fullback for the winger in those tight end areas on the wing. So we see Madueke get skinned a few times by Diallo. I was just worried. They looked a little lackluster in transition. There's a point in the second half where Arsenal tries to do a short corner, right? And the ball gets played to Saka. And Saka plays this kind of shit ball back, wayward pass back to the center half to kind of redistribute the play. And Mbeumo gets the ball but is fouled. And then United now have an opportunity to transition and change the tide of the game with 2 or 3 minutes left. And that, just moments like that where concentration is needed, they seemingly lacked it. Granted, it's the first game of the season. Is Gyökeres going to be as bad as he was the first game? No. Or I don't want to say bad. I want to say inefficient. I don't think so. But there is one piece in this team that is severely lacking. And I think if Arsenal don't get this player or this style of player, they will struggle this season, specifically against low block teams, specifically in transition as well. They need a player the mold of an Eze. Eze was crying out in this team on Sunday. A guy that can get the ball confidently, take on a guy, take on another player, and get into space and push the team forward 15, 20 yards. When I look at Odegaard, I never feel that he is able to take a game by the scruff of the neck. And a few years ago, he was doing that. And unfortunately, now something has changed within their style of play. And we look at, the first year that they finished second when they were, I think, 8 or 10 points clear of Manchester City. Liverpool's collapsed that season when they finished fifth. And City would go on, I think there was a treble season for Manchester City, if I'm not mistaken. But that season, they were playing amazing stuff. It was so end-to-end. It was fast. It was pacey. It was powerful. They had just this intuition, this natural inclination to always push forward. And the thing that is frustrating about Arsenal, and I maybe Arsenal fans can resonate with this, Mikel Arteta seemingly has a very weak spine when it comes to trying to win games by the scruff of the neck. It never seems now that, you know what, we should go for this. We should go first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we do it. We push the tempo. We get little pieces of play in around the 18-yard box. We hit them on the counter, et cetera, et cetera. It never felt like that. They're still very reliant, seemingly, on set pieces. And there's something lacking in this team. And I don't know if it's a mentality issue. I don't know if it's a coaching issue. I don't know if it's a player issue. To me, it's a 10. I think a 10 can unlock this team. You'll get the best out of Saka. I think Madueke, when he came on, didn't do much. Martinelli has been shocking in front of goal for 2 seasons now, almost 3. His level of confidence is shot completely. I'm surprised he's still at the club, to be honest with you. But there's so much that could happen with this team, and I'm really struggling to see. And this is not a hateful or spiteful thing to say, but it is a important question to ask. If they don't have a good start to the season, Arsenal, I think 1-0 at Manchester United is a good result, especially it's a difficult place to play at any time, even when they're shit. It's a difficult place to play, especially with that little rivalry that they have, the historical rivalry. It is pivotal they have a quick start to the season, a good start to the season. Last year, that's what cost them the league, as well as injuries. This year, they have a very difficult start to the season. They have Leeds United at home. I think they'll win that. They have Liverpool away at Anfield. Then they have Manchester City. It's a tough schedule, and I'm genuinely worried that we might not see it now, but I felt like there was a fraction within the fan base. There's a fraction of the fan base. There's a fractured population of the fan base that are starting to get frustrated with this guy. And if Arteta doesn't deliver this season, how many more times do we have to have these conversations of, well, they'll do it next year? We got to a Champions League semifinal, yeah, and they got destroyed by PSG in the second game, which seemingly lost them the tie, and they lost at home in the first game, but they beat Real Madrid. So it's like there's so many little things, so many factors. It's like this team needs to win something now. They've been together for 2 seasons. They have not won anything. I don't want to count the Community Shield as a trophy. It's not a trophy. It's a preseason gig. They need to win something. He has won FA Cup in 7 years, 8 years, and it's not a spiteful thing to say. It's just the facts. How much longer is this team going to have to wait to deliver something? And what this performance showed me was, yes, they won at Old Trafford, but it just didn't seem to have a performance that impressed a lot of people. Maybe it's impressive that they won the game. There's a flip, and I don't want to be biased. Maybe there is that side where, you know what, it's actually impressive that they won the game considering they didn't play well. And that is actually a positive thing to take away from this. But I think they need to have a good start. They need to score some goals. They need to get Gyökeres off and running. They need to get Saka off and running. They need to. Martin Odegaard this is his make or break season. It's either it works out this season or it doesn't work out. If he doesn't perform, and if he performs how he did last year, he should be sold next season. It's just the way of the business. If you don't perform, that's it. Arsenal will play Leeds this weekend. I think they'll win that game comfortably. I'm not worried about the thing that cost them last season, bar the injuries, were the performances like Brighton, were the performances like Fulham. Those are the games they need to win. Against the top six, they've shown that they can go out and they can play. We see the 2-2 draw last year. They destroyed Manchester City last season. They've shown that in big games, they can show out and play. This season, for me, and it should have been last season as well, they need to defeat the teams that they should be beating. So Fulham this season, Leeds United at home, first game of the season. Go out there and perform. Get the fans excited. It's that thing in a title race that when you build the confidence and you show to your fans that there's something different, a little more energy in the attack, a little more balance or something. They need to show that early, because if they don't, I actually fear for this team that they might struggle, and it's going to get ugly if they struggle. That's my thought on the first game of the season for Man United and for Arsenal. I was impressed with Manchester United. It can't get any worse than last season. Arsenal, a little disappointed. I think that this was an opportunity to make a big statement. And yes, they got the 3 points. That's all that matters in a title race. At the end of the day, you need to have a good start. A win is a win, right? I just want to see a little bit more. Arsenal now have a lot more attacking quality in their team. It would be very disappointing to see them not utilize that to the best of their capabilities. And that goes down to the manager. If he cannot find a balance of defensive solidity and attacking output, then there's no point this season. It's going to be the same thing. They're going to struggle in games that they should win, and they're going to win the games that they do, but you need to win a lot of points this season. I think it's going to be 88 to 91 points this year, which will probably win you the title. That's my guess. Arsenal have gotten 3. There's 37 games left in the season. Let's see how it goes. Leave us a like. Leave us a subscribe. Subscribe to us. Share it around. You never know. But thank you, everybody, for listening. This was my little breakdown of the game over the weekend. We're going to have some more content this weekend, or this week, actually. So thank you very much for listening. Peace and love.